However, there are things that are under our control and others that are not, such as opinions, preferences, desires, and dislikes. In short, everything that is inherent in our actions is under our control. On the other hand, the body, wealth, reputation, and authorities, in short, everything that is not inherent in our actions, is beyond our control. Thus begins the manual or life guide of the famous Greek philosopher. If you want to live a full life without excess of afflictions of the soul, it is necessary to understand that there are things under your control and others that are not. Our duty is to direct our energy to what is under our command and ignore what is not. One of the biggest problems a human being can face is the opinions and judgments of other people. It is practically inevitable to be affected, positively or negatively, by them. To avoid being affected, it is crucial to understand that the opinions of others, insults, or any type of personal attack are not under your control. In the life manual, we learn how to act when we are the target of offenses. Therefore, the purpose of this video is to extract the teachings of the famous life manual to achieve a mental state that allows us to reduce or eliminate all types of suffering arising from the judgments of others. Through 7 teachings or principles extracted from Epictetus' manual, you will learn why you should not worry about external feelings and how to achieve a state in which opinions cannot harm you. 1. Insults or offenses. Epictetus states that the one who insults or assaults is not being insulted, but rather his own judgment that these actions are offensive. Therefore, if someone provokes you, keep in mind that it is your own opinion that is disturbing you. Avoid being influenced by appearances, since once you gain time and calm down, it will be easier to control yourself. A key to not caring about the opinions of others is to understand that the insult or offense is not inherently harmful. The emotional discomfort that accompanies the insult stems from how we process that insult. When someone belittles or disrespects you, think that this insult will only harm you if you allow it. If it reacts negatively, then the true value of a person should be measured by the ability to tolerate negativity. Unfortunately, life is like that. When you feel insulted or offended, ask yourself, do I want to win or lose? Do I want to give in to what I can't control? Draw a parallel with Stoicism and pleasures. If we want to stop being influenced by them, we must not fight desire, since desire will never disappear. The difference lies in how we process this desire, whether we give ourselves completely to it or ignore it. If you manage not to be disturbed by the insult, the satisfaction you will feel afterwards will make you someone superior and able to move steadily forward through adversity. Surely, you are thinking about that time when a negative comment ruined your day or week despite your efforts. Let me say that I understand how you feel, as everyone has been in this situation at some point. If this is your case, I recommend that you continue watching, as in the next principles we will address self-control. 2. Maintain firm resolutions. In this principle, it is necessary to understand that if we want to avoid being affected by the opinions of others. The idea is this: if you have a strong commitment to understanding philosophy, prepare yourself from the start to face ridicule and mockery from the public. Be prepared to hear comments such as "suddenly you're a philosopher," or questions about the origin of the seemingly arrogant attitude. Make sure you don't adopt such arrogance and stick to things that contribute to your well-being. Remember that if you stand firm in your position, those who use to ridicule you may end up admiring you. However, if you allow yourself to be influenced by others, you will experience ridicule twice. This principle, proposed by the Greek philosopher, can be applied to any aspect of our lives. This principle is crucial because many people neglect their true talents just to please dissenting voices. Epictetus emphasizes that if we allow our purpose to be influenced by fear of the opinions of others, failure does not occur because we try and do not succeed, but because we give in to the opinions of others. It is important not to see this as a failure, but as a real problem. When a person gives up just to avoid social conflict or to prevent others from forming opinions about him, it is worth persevering, even if there is mockery or questioning for a while. After all, as you move forward, you will be living in tune with your own nature. I recommend considering this whenever you need to make a decision in your life, prioritizing and understanding the true reasons behind your choices. Number 3, don't worry if someone talks badly about you. Don't let the fear of living in dishonor and being nobody bother you, for if not receiving honors were a bad thing, then others would have the power to make us unhappy, and things don't work that way. The truth is that you are someone only in those things that are under your control and depend on your decisions. This principle is really relevant these days. How many times have you done something you didn't really want just to get someone's approval, especially on social media? Social validation on these platforms can be detrimental. We must ask ourselves if it is worth changing who we really are just to get a little satisfaction, or if it is worth putting our emotional well-being in the hands of others. My answer is clear: no. I recommend reflecting on this, as we've all been caught doing something embarrassing at some point that wasn't malicious. Why care if they laugh at you or marginalize you in terms of popularity? Do you really believe that your happiness depends on how popular you are? Living like this will lead to constant conflicts, since your happiness is not in your hands. Therefore, you will live in a constant state of tension, changing your essence just to avoid losing status. One of the main points of Stoicism is to care only about what is under your control and to become unperturbed about what is not. Regarding insults, remember that no one can hurt you unless you allow it. If someone harms you or speaks ill of you, remember that they act in the belief that they are right to do so. It is not possible for everyone to act according to what you consider right, but it does not seem right to them. So if someone judges you based on a false appearance, they are the ones who harm themselves with their mistake, so tolerate the person who insults you patiently and repeat to yourself that this is just what they think. In the fourth principle, for an insult to turn into an offense, as Epictetus said, we must have the same respect for our mind that we have for our body. I'm sure you wouldn't allow a stranger into your home every day knowing the threat it would pose. However, when we receive an insult and process it as an offense, we allow that person to enter our mind and remain there for a few days. We then allow strangers into our minds when we would never let them into our homes. To achieve a state where we ignore the negative feelings arising from an offense, discipline and self-control must be accumulated. This applies to all life situations, including with the family. When you are angry, control this emotion, as this will prevent a lot of unnecessary suffering and make you feel more comfortable with yourself. Believe me, it will make a significant change in your life. On the fifth principle, act according to your best judgment. We should not be ashamed of being seen to be acting according to our principles, even if others may form a wrong idea of what we are doing. If we are acting correctly, why fear the wrong judgment of others? This also applies to the use of social networks, where we often allow our happiness to depend on the popularity or validation of others. This leads us to act to please them instead of going our own way. In the sixth principle, do not worry if someone speaks badly about you. If someone harms you or speaks ill of you, remember that they act on the assumption that they are right to do so. But it is not possible to think that everyone would act according to what seems right to you, but not to them. Therefore, if they are judging on the basis of a false appearance, it is they who harmed themselves with their mistake. Based on these principles, tolerate the person who judges you patiently, and on each of these occasions tell yourself. In the seventh principle, no one can hurt you. Through this seventh principle, we analyze the motivation of the sender of the insult. What it tells us is that we cannot expect everyone to act according to what you consider right or according to your worldview. This way of thinking can be very harmful. We must consider the following reflection. Is it really feasible to believe that everyone has the same worldview as you? To think so is quite naive. Therefore, in case someone insults you in any way, you should ask yourself, did I act wrong? If the answer is no, ask yourself if I can get into your mind and understand the reason for the insult. Clearly you can't. Therefore, in the event that you have acted correctly and faced ignorance about the motivation of the insult, you should be glad, since you are the person in the world who knows yourself best. In the event that you acted correctly, you should not carry the burden of repentance, as Epictetus said about the person who insults you, this is how it seemed to them. In conclusion, I would like to close with the following lesson from Epictetus. How long do you think it will take to become worthy of the highest progress and follow the teachings of reason that you have ever received? You have already received the philosophical principles with which you should be familiar. What other master are you waiting for to start improving? You are no longer a teenager, but an adult. If you continue to be negligent, lazy, and constantly putting things off, adding excuse after excuse and postponing the day you will dedicate to yourself, life will pass while you remain ignorant until the day you die. What did you think of the video? Let me know your opinion in the comments. If you're new here, be sure to sign up to embark with us on the paths of wisdom. Bye.